Through 8 races, we've had 4 different winners, and Dustin Montgomery, he holds the majority at 4 wins to his name. Will we see him go for a 5th win, or will we see a 5th different winner? Only the Chicagoland Speedway knows the answer. I am Emerson Arden. I have my colleagues Will Tiller and Reese Schaefer alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening, and we are very excited to be bringing you live coverage of the Speed Racing Network Z Grill Series here on the iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations platform. And well, this is yet another mile and a half on tap for these drivers tonight, but this one is a little bit different. It's got many different characteristics: a curved back straightaway, a very late pit entry, and a very abrasive tire heavy surface.
Yeah, absolutely, Emerson. I'm excited to be here tonight in this Thursday night Xfinity Series. You know, you're looking at 5 degrees of banking on the backstretch, 11 degrees on the front stretch, 18 degrees of banking on both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. As you mentioned, a very abrasive racetrack, very old surface, something that the Windy City is going to provide here tonight, Emerson, is some incredible racing.
Incredible racing indeed. I think is something that we've experienced a lot this season. Maybe the races, they've gotten a little strung out, maybe more than I think spectators would like, but we've had some incredible finishes this season. It has given us this point outlook on the season. Yes, of course, Dustin Montgomery has those 4 wins on the season, and we'll take a look at just how he got one of those wins against a couple very fast guys like Adrian Schumacher at Road America that we'll have to see in just a bit. But of course, Tyler Justice has those 2 wins on the season. He got Daytona, and if I'm not mistaken, he got, oh gosh, actually I can't remember what his other win was, but he almost won Indianapolis, except he ran out of fuel on the last lap. Give that win to Max Service. Gabriel Ellison took the checkers last time out in Iowa, and of course Reese Schaefer had the pleasure of calling. But those are the guys who have won this season. Adrian Schumacher's the highest driver in points without a win. Felt like he should have won at Road America, but he's still searching for that first win on the season. But Reese, that's the top of the standings. We're really talking about how nitty gritty it is back here for that cut line. It's 8 points then between De La Rosa and Scott Kalal, but a lot of moving pieces down here.
Yeah, absolutely, Emerson. We got, the very own JB sitting right there at the cut line, and we got guys like Paul Bliss, their Drew Roseros that are in, but man, the points are so tight down there, you're not really feeling that comfortable. While we got guys like Scott Kalal, Bobby Anderson, Jim Harris just peeking in there, trying to do everything they can to get into that top 15 coming up here in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to see how these guys try to work the stage, work the race, try to get as many points as they can tonight.
Absolutely. Stage points, will be very important. What kind of strategies can you pull in tonight's race? Just like Charlotte, just like Kansas and Las Vegas, 150 laps for these drivers tonight. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a long one, but strategy and putting yourself in the right position over the course of that race is going to be key tonight. Speaking about putting yourself in position, track position meant a lot when we were at our first road course on the season back at Road America. It was, of course, Dustin Montgomery who took victory there, but it was not without a very, very difficult battle and fight with Tyler Justice and one of Speed Racing Network's road ringers, Adrian Schumacher. Take a look at how he did it. Two laps to go. Who can keep it on the pavement? Also, lap traffic being approached by this 3-car battle. That's another teammate. Oh, the teammate's gone off in front of the leaders.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness, that could have been big time. Adrian to the left side of Tyler Justice. They're gonna fight into 6. Side by side, this is what Montgomery needs. Adrian losing the grip on the rear tires. Justice clears. Montgomery now has a second. But he's got a lap car sitting on the racing line. That now into the favor of Tyler Justice. What is happening?
I have no idea. Wow. This is exciting.
By the way, they've opened their gap on the field nearly 20 seconds to now Gabriel Ellison in fourth. If anything were to happen to all three of them.
Yeah, I mean, if anything happened to if something happened to all three of them, I mean, I think they can, get
They
going.
might be able to gather it back up.
Exactly. I mean, they're far enough ahead, but I mean, we're with 2 to go, and I mean, there's still a lot of racing to go, and a lot of base that you can gain on this, especially with how fast these guys are running.
Well, here we go. It's Dustin Montgomery leading Tyler Justice and Adrian Schumacher. 1 lap to go from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America. It's been a phenomenal battle to get here, but who's going to get back to the line first now? We got a car around in turn 1. That's the 85 of Paul Bliss, right on the racing line. The leaders got to work their way through. They got to sift through.
Yeah, Schumacher caught that lap car at a wrong time.
Unfortunate timing for the 0.
Absolutely. But with the way these top 2 are running, if I'm Schumacher, I wouldn't give up just yet.
Oh, there's no need to give up now. These two are going to have a proper battle. Out of 5, Montgomery still heads Justice up the hill. Justice drives 3 through the center of the corner, nearly to the rear end. Putting it all on the line here at Road America. Justice bobbles under the braking. Justice has to perfect his exit out of the kink and maybe have it go into Canada corner. Sideways, losing rear grip, and that might be all Montgomery needs. Sending it through the kink. Justice losing control.
See what I mean, though? He got in the grass, but he still held on to second. I mean, these guys are on rails right now.
Phenomenal driving displays put on by all 3 of these guys. But through turn 13 for the final time. Jonathan Byer in front of the leader. Tyler Justice sideways. Trying to get there. Byer trying to stay on the lead lap. Dustin Montgomery is going to come across the line and win at Road America in a phenomenal final battle. And of course, that is how Dustin Montgomery got the road course victory on the season, to his credit. But we do have our starting lineup for tonight's race here at the Chicagoland Speedway. The first 3 rows, Tyler Justice and Dustin Montgomery, then the front row, Adrian Schumacher, Sean Powell, Gabriel Ellison, and Max Service, then the top 6.
Looking at the 7th position, we have Jonathan Byer in that 13. 8th position, Jonathan Cofield. 9th, Seth Berger in that 77. Nathan Del Rosa in that 66. And 10th, Kristen Swenson in that 10 and 11th. And rounding out our top 12 is David Robinson.
P13, we got good old Scott Kalal, Vincent Cortez starting P14, then 23 machine, Logan Truitt starting P15 tonight, Jim Harris P16, Bobby Anderson 17th, and Kyle Ryan will be all 18 drivers rounding out this field tonight.
That's right, 18 drivers in tonight's field, and they are all revving and getting ready to do battle tonight. 150 laps around a 1.5 mile track out here just outside of Chicago, Joliet, Illinois, home to the Chicagoland Speedway. Those phase 2 chassis works, guys. 3 of them up inside the top 5. A tank and a JBR driver round out the rest of the top 5. And the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane. The field in the hands of Tyler Justice, and racing commences from Chicagoland. a Seth Berger goes around. Jonathan Meyer, Jonathan Cofield go around in the back. And already a first stoppage in action. We heard a little bit before the race that these drivers could really have some issues on cold tires, and it looks like the likes of Seth Berger, Jonathan Meyer, and Jonathan Cofield are going to be the ones involved in this first lap incident.
That's crazy there, Emerson. You see it right there coming off the corner, and I think you just mentioned it there, on cold tires on a track that not everybody's used to. You have some banking on the front stretch and back stretch here. And right there, that's just a pile up on old tires, waiting for things to get warmed up, but very early to have trouble like that.
We're catching this incident actually pretty late, so I have to get another one queued up. But really, that was a massive bit of contact there. Everyone else kind of slid through the infield. Actually, we're catching that a little bit late. We'll get it with this one out here. This is off of turn number 2. And Reese, you ran the truck race last night. What do you think these drivers are going through right there? JB pushes up, slight contact with Cofield.
Yeah, Emerson, this draft here is really strong. And, even though JB don't see anyone quite in front of him, you wonder if, just coming off the corner there and just, the turbulent air, maybe just unsettling the car and just pushing it right, and JB getting into Cofield there, and then poor Seth Berger just nowhere to go.
Unfortunate incident then for all three of those drivers. We'll try to get one up above the racetrack and get a better view of it. But you see it there. That's JB pushing up the track, contact with Cofield. Cofield gets sideways, and Berger and Meyer nowhere to go. We'll bring it back to live action here under our first caution period of the day, gentlemen. And we have some takers on the pit lane. Of course, Cofield, Meyer, and Berger kind of have to, but De La Rosa, Bobby Anderson, well, De La Rosa actually picked up a little damage here, but Bobby Anderson decides to just pit on his own. Bobby Anderson.
And Reese, I wanted to ask you, if you're one of those drivers that are involved in that, like the likes of Seth Berger, Meyer in that 13, is it still early enough to have an issue like that, maybe rebound in this race, or does something like that really put you down the rest of the go?
The problem is with these cars, they don't really have the iRacing updated damage model, and so when you got it damaged, it's really going to stick with you almost the entire race, even if you get it fixed in pit road. And the problem is, we talked about earlier, 18 cars tonight. I mean, the field size, that other than the stage, that's probably going to, more than likely might be the only caution, and so you wonder if Seth and them, they'll try their best to hang on, but hopefully the damage isn't too bad. But otherwise, they might be in real trouble going forward here.
You're right. You make a great point, Reese. The damage model, still waiting for that updated damage model to get some composite bodies on these B cars here on the iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations platform. And then, of course, any damage to this old model, or I guess outdated damage model to these B cars, is game over, essentially. Yes, you don't want to ever kind of pick up damage in any race, but the aerodynamics of these cars are so sensitive that any, destruction of the boxiness of these cars will really hinder your speed. But speaking of speed, we're going to try to turn these boys up to speed one more time as the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find it safety down in the pit lane. We'll try this one again. Justice leads us to the green. One lap complete from the start. It is from the restart, I should say. Tyler Justice out in front of the field. Dustin Montgomery hot in pursuit. Adrian Schumacher, Gabriel Ellis, and Sean Powell then the top 5.
Yeah, Justice takes us down the backstretch into 3 and 4 under heavy pressure from Montgomery in that 12. You look at Schumacher right there in that 82. He's staying tight with the pack. All drivers choosing to go that low side around 3 and 4. Now down the front stretch, officially under green for the last 2 laps.
That's right.
Emerson,
We finally. Yep, go for it, Reese.
I was gonna say, you talked about earlier, Adrian Schumacher still looking for his first win there on the season, riding in P3, and we talked about earlier, a lot of these guys just saw that big wreck, right? And they're all trying, taking it nice and easy, try to get the tires warmed up before they start making moves.
You're right. These drivers, maybe they were thinking about pushing a little bit, maybe into turns 3 and 4 on that opening lap. But after that caution comes out, and you see maybe just how easy it is to lose control of these B cars, that these drivers have decided to maybe take it a little bit easy. We do have that stage break coming for these guys, I believe, at lap number 40. And maybe these drivers are going to kind of feel it out, see how far you can push these tires in a 40-lap run with a predetermined caution in your back pocket.
Yeah, and you see some battles brewing up on the racetrack right there. That's the 10 machine just getting around the 35 on the racetrack. Big move so far, but as you mentioned, Emerson, very calm 9 laps into this race. It's a strategic stage, if you will. We're trying to see how far you can press this car early, but now we have a battle for the lead coming off of 2. Montgomery starting to press Justice down the backstretch.
Montgomery still looking, see if he can get a glimpse there entering turn 3 and 4, just kind of following Justice's line. Emerson, these phase 2 chassis work guys, man, they just find the front here early, still up, starting up front, staying up front. Probably gonna be talking about them all night long up front here.
We've been talking about them all season long, and it seems like tonight will be no different. It's more the question of which one of them will prevail. The Montgomery has that over Tyler Justice in the 4-2 count. Justice maybe could have argued maybe he should have had Indianapolis, and it still would have been 4-3 in Montgomery's favor. He dropped the ball last week at Iowa. Reese, you were more privy to that race than Will and I were. Then Gabriel Ellison out of the JBR stable took that race to his credit, and an unusual sight. We didn't see these guys really run away with it there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really interesting at that race. We saw, like I said, we saw Justice. He was dominating the first half. He led, I think, of like 100 laps in a row. Like, it just completely dominant. And Montgomery was right there, up there, and then all of a sudden, about halfway through the race, it just kind of flipped the switch, and all of a sudden we had Gabriel Ellison come from the back, charging forward, and he got by Justice, and he didn't look back. Almost won by almost 10 seconds, 8 seconds. I mean, it was dominant fashion. It was really, really odd turn of events, but I definitely think Justice would like to have that one back, and I think he's gonna try to get another one today.
He'll look to do that today here at Chicagoland. 8 seconds, 10 seconds. That's a large margin, probably our second largest margin on the season. It was about 18 seconds that Dustin Montgomery had on the field at Las Vegas. Right now, it's only 1/10 of a second between Tyler Justice and Dustin Montgomery. 3.5 tenths back, Adrian Schumacher, and half a second, Gabriel Ellison from the top 4. You have the top 6 within a second, and the top 15 within 4 seconds. Bobby Anderson off the pace back here. Actually, there was damage to that 11 machine, and you kind of already see it. Will damage is going to be the very, very impacting factor for Anderson, Berger, and Beyer.
For sure, and you see what's happening also on the front half of this grid as well. If you can't stay in the draft and the guy in front of you, you're going to have problems in the lead group. Never mind these guys back here that are trying to put some laps in. You see the run now Schumacher has to the outside of Montgomery. That was just one small mistake Montgomery had coming off the corner. Now it looks like Schumacher's going to look to the inside here into 1 and 2. Will he have enough space? He's door to door with Montgomery coming off of 2. We have a battle for the podium into the corner. You see Schumacher there to the inside, still door to door off of 2 as we're drag racing down the backstretch.
Schumacher almost got into Montgomery there coming out of turn 2. Looks like he's gonna file back and land behind him. That move, tried to pull off, not quite yet, but Schumacher's definitely gonna take another rip at it next coming laps.
Absolutely. Adrian Schumacher, again, very hungry for his first win of the season, still kicking himself about Road America. And then you think about this track for Adrian. This is his home state, Illinois. He would love to get it done in some home territory for that Zero machine.
Oh, absolutely. You know that they've put in a lot of time. If it's their home track, they've raced it a million times here on the iRacing simulator. Probably the first track that they bought when they turned on iRacing. You see Schumacher, he is still on the back bumper of Montgomery. Montgomery goes very, very low across that start-finish line, trying to cut that draft of Schumacher, who has another great run to the inside here. Montgomery will go down, throw that tail in front of Schumacher, kill a little bit of that run that was happening, guys. As we're down the backstretch, Justice still leading the way.
Yeah, Montgomery and Justice and Schumacher, all these three just honestly under a blanket up here, trying kind of tripping over each other almost. One gets a better run and one doesn't. But I'm really curious, Emerson. Last night in the Blitz series, we saw guys start moving up later in the run. I wonder if these guys will start trying to find different territory as we enter the second half of the first stage here.
And I was just thinking about that, Reese. You guys, especially with that truck setup, it looked like the setup worked well on the bottom for the first 10, 15 laps, but after about that lap 15 point, there was no more grip down on that bottom side. The trucks would not rotate. I believe it was a lot of understeer y'all fought with yesterday that forced everyone up to that top side about 15, 20 laps in. Now, what I heard from drivers before the race is, well, first of all, these B cars, they give you a bit of everything, oversteer and understeer. But I heard really we're finding a lot of oversteer here, and that these drivers actually may more or less resort to the bottom. So far, that's what they're doing. As they come out of turn number 4, 19 laps complete. It's still this phase 2 chassis work, guys, out in front.
Yeah, and Reese, I wanted to ask you here, as we're about halfway through this first stage, how long can drivers stay to the bottom, as Emerson was just talking about? When will you start to see these drivers start to drift up the track and secure that midpoint line there, start to move up the track, and that tire wear starts to come into play?
I think, we'll start seeing guys. It's more honestly a feel thing. You can really tell when the car's just not reacting as well on the bottom, or we talked about that dirty air, that trip in the air that may have caused that first wreck. If you're sitting behind a guy and man, the car just doesn't want to turn, maybe that's when we'll see guys try, maybe not going completely a lane higher, but maybe half a lane, just trying to get any fresh air they can to really help their car rotate and get out of that dirty air. But I'm really curious to see if this first run, if we're gonna start maybe at the end of it, if you're not going to gain too many places, maybe we'll see guys start experimenting in the backs, trying the third lane, high line, just see if lap times are comparable.
That's it, guys. I think it's really trying to see what the car feels, especially if we're into that midpoint, or we are now very much past the point of fresh tires. We are now into aged tires, and here we have Powell, a great run on Ellison. This is for the 4th position. This battle into turn 3. Powell trying to wrap that inside. He's got Schumacher out in front. Ellison keeps the power down, near contact out of turn number 4.
Oh my goodness, Emerson, that was so close, coming off of 4 into 1 and 2. Stays to the inside. Powell's not giving up on that position. Counting on the laps here in stage number 1. You see coming off 2. He still has the run. He does not. Has to file back behind Emerson into 3 and 4. Back to a single file line into 3 and 4.
Yeah, we saw Ellison there. You said higher line in 1 and 2, and it really got a good run. You wonder if he'll think about going back up there next time through.
And so, guys, the development here is we now have a 7-car breakaway from the rest of the field. Behind that, it's Kalal, Cortez, Truitt, and then everyone's kind of spread out from behind. Kyle Ryan. Here's a little bit of a battle between Jim Harris and Jonathan Cofield. This is for 12th. And a battle behind between Swenson and Anderson into the corner. Cofield will dive past the 18 machine, and he'll make easy work then of Harris. We'll go back up front. This is Service on the aggressive on David Robertson.
Yeah, service keeps looking to the inside, but if we could jump back to Cofield there, I remember, Reese, I asked that question, if a driver can make their way back up through the field after suffering that damage. And Jonathan Cofield, although may not win this race, he has been eating up some positions up to 12th. He's up to Ryan there, just a little bit of a second off the pace. He's trying to maybe scrape out a top 10 finish out of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of, with these wrecks here in iRacing, you just kind of almost luck of the draw sometimes if when you get damaged, how much it is or what it affects. And it looks like Cofield hopefully doesn't look like it's too bad. Almost all the way up here to 12th, and with the stage caution, maybe you can crack off a couple more.
Right there, guys. Jonathan Beyer went a lap down. He was fighting hard with Tyler Justice, and Justice had to lift up out of turn number 2 to just keep from running into Jonathan Beyer. Now Beyer really maybe playing a factor into these later battles. By the way, Gabriel Ellison has found a way past Adrian Schumacher, and that might be worth visiting here in a bit. And actually, I guess we could take a look at what happened in the most recent overtake of this race. Looks like Schumacher allowed Ellison to get to his outside, and we saw that with the trucks, really. That once you get to the outside of somebody, also I guess lap car there helped a little bit. Ellison was coming down. I think Schumacher didn't really force the issue either, but Ellison got to the outside. Once you get to the outside, especially in those trucks last night, Reese, it was basically game over.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about earlier too, Ellison defended off Powell on the high side there, and then he got around Schumacher on the high side. So maybe Ellison's trying to find some, a little bit of pace out there in the higher lanes.
So far, it's worked for him. Ellison up 2 spots from where he started. Robertson and Cortez up 6. Kyle Ryan up 7 from the back of the grid. A lot of heavy movers forward. Of course, Beyer and Berger, the 2 main losers from the initial start of this race, of course, with the accident.
Yeah, and you're starting to see Ellison slide up the track there. You're starting to see a little bit of movement out of Powell sliding up the track here with 11 laps to go here in stage number 1. So Justice laying it down, though, at the top position. Just going easy here in the first stage. Has a good lead. No mistakes so far. But, guys, what stands out to me is the eagerness out of Ellison now looking to the inside of Montgomery here going into 1 and 2. He might be looking to put some pressure on Justice here in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Ellison last week, his long run pace was amazing. By far the fastest car on the longer run at Iowa. And so, maybe he's kind of trying to find a similar suit like last week, trying to get that long run pace going. And as you can see, already past Schumacher, and he's kind of tiptoeing up to Montgomery here.
Closing that gap, he is surging on these phase 2 chassis work, guys, and he's saying that this stage is not over yet. Now, if he's going to have something for Tyler Justice, he's got to get through Montgomery relatively quick, and Montgomery's defending really well. But sideways there out of turn number 2, a bobble from the 12. This could be what Ellison needs.
Ellison now looks to the inside into 3 and 4 with that mistake. Montgomery just opened the door for him to take that opportunity side by side out of 3 and 4. Now down that curve, front stretch, so side by side for that second position across that start finish line. Too close to call. And now Ellison has to fall back behind Montgomery into 1 and 2.
And Ellison, he tried to get to the high side. Sorry to cut you off there, Reese. And Montgomery went up there to close the door. Schumacher's trying to get back into this battle.
Montgomery using a little bit of mirror driving there, recognizing that Ellison had that big run off the high side last lap in 1 and 2. Decided, I'll go back up there with you. And that really threw Ellison off. But saying that, though, Emerson, Ellison's coming right back.
Not over yet between these 2. Ellison's gonna recharge and try it again. The only thing that this is doing for Ellison is the more he battles with Montgomery, the less time he'll have to try to chase down Tyler Justice.
That keeps opening the door as well for Schumacher. There goes Ellison, though, to the inside into 3 and 4. Huge run there. Montgomery was forced to the top side. He had to slow down. Now Montgomery now to the back bumper of Ellison as Ellison passes on the apex across the start-finish line. Ellison up to second. Montgomery still on that back bumper in third into 1 and 2. Justice still leads the way.
Ellison using that high line again. Montgomery still sticking that low line. Very loose there out of the 12
Whoa.
machine. Just hang on to her though. Just another day's work. As Ellison's trying to make his way up to Justice here. Got about 6, 7 laps to go. Emerson, you think he's got a shot?
Maybe. I do know somebody has a shot here. Service on Robertson. He's been stalking him the whole stage, and now Service has gotten up alongside the Elliott Sadler esports driver, David Robertson. Max Service trying to keep his nose down there. Robertson doing a fine job at defending there in the middle of the racetrack in this battle for 6th position.
Yeah, these two have been going at it all race long. Robinson doing a great job of keeping that tail in front of the nose of Service. Service still looking to the inside. Will jump up, though. Montgomery under fire there from Schumacher. Schumacher holds the fastest lap of this race. Trying to get another position here across that start-finish line. You see right now Schumacher's to the quarter panel, into the corner, still side by side for third.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Adrian, the hometown boy, trying to work his way around Montgomery. Montgomery still loose, man. And he's trying to wheeling that thing out of the corners, trying to hold on here to the end of the stage.
Montgomery doing a great job at holding on to what he's got, but now with 4 laps left in stage number 1, does he have what it takes to fend off Adrian Schumacher? You know, Gabriel Ellison was trying to close that gap. Well, he has closed that gap on Tyler Justice, but again, we saw it last night, especially with Michael Sturgill and Dean Brummett. Catching somebody is one thing, passing somebody is a whole other story. We'll see here, Ellison, he's now half the deficit since I started talking about it. It's 2/10.
He's right there though, Emerson. It is very difficult to get around somebody, especially somebody that's been so clean as Justice so far in this race. But Ellison, you see it right there, Reese. Big runs into the corner. He's right on that back bumper. I think he'll have an opportunity before the stage breaks. If not, he's definitely taking notes here at the stage.
Yeah, absolutely will. And if you look just up the road, we got Seth Berger, a lap car coming. So this might get really interesting here for Justice. As Ellison, man, continues to get closer and closer in the mirror. Coming to 2 laps to go here. Ellison might have an opportunity.
That's another thing here, guys, right? Berger, he knows that caution's coming up. Pit road is now closed. He's going to try to fend off, but he has no chance. Tyler Justice will fire on Pie to 77. I thought Berger was maybe going to put up a fight to try to stay on the lead lap, but Berger right now will be the lucky dog. But, oh, that's going to hinder Ellison. Ellison's going to have to drop down to the inside of the lap number 77 Flood Brothers Berger Arts machine. And Ellison will try again, still within 2/10, but 1 lap to go.
Yeah, I like what I've seen, though, out of Ellison here in this stage. And a great job of working through traffic, holding back just a little bit. As Reese mentioned, you see jump back and for the podium. You see Schumacher and Montgomery going at it here into the corner, side by side for that last podium spot here in stage number 1.
Now with Seth Berger being a teammate of Schumacher, you wonder if he'll try to hinder Montgomery and try to see if he can get Adrian an extra spot here at the end of the stage. As they enter 3 and 4, oh, looks like Montgomery's just going to clear Schumacher barely. So looks like coming out of the stage here, they're going to finish as they are.
Tyler Justice out of turn number 4 will win stage 1 here from Joliet. Gabriel Ellison hot on his tail. Montgomery, that late move to dive in front of Schumacher, will secure 3rd. 4th for Schumacher, 5th for Powell, and then Service, Cortez, Robertson, Truitt, and Kalalvan Vaten receiving bonus points here in the opening stage from Chicagoland. Tyler Justice then on phase 2 chassis works. Your stage winner. He'll come around, cash a safety car, and next time by, pit lane will be open for the 2nd time today under a caution period, and these drivers, I imagine, will all be searching for 4 fresh feel goods.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with what we saw out of Justice there, but also on the flip side, you know, Reese, as a driver, you know, for Ellison to come raging up through the field there, looked like he was gaining ground on Justice. Does that kind of play with anybody's confidence, you know, maybe for Justice at the top of the grid or Ellison who had that big run?
I would definitely, probably honestly both. I mean, for Justice, I definitely think he was doing a little bit of mirror driving, and he's probably talking to Dustin and probably asking, what is Ellison running, what kind of line, and you wonder if he'll, in this, after the stage here, if Justice, maybe 25 laps later into the run is going to move up, kind of like Ellison did.
What I do know is these drivers will all be making that hard left-hand turn into pit lane, where the pit crews, the virtual pit crews that is, will all come out to play and determine where these drivers will restart this next stage. And so the entire line of 15 lead lap vehicles work down the pit lane, and the pit stops commence, and we then await who will be the winners off the pit lane.
You know, Emerson, bringing back to that very first wreck, you know, wonder if this can probably gonna help a lot of the guys like Cofield and others, you know, get their damage finally fully repaired, and wonder if we'll start seeing guys start making their way up.
Oh, Montgomery wins the race off pit road. Allison Justice comes out third. Oh my goodness. And so, with that, that was the pit cycle. We will then have the opportunity to talk to our Stage 1 winner out of Phase 2 Chassis Works. It is Tyler Justice. Unfortunately, losing the lead on the pit stop. But, Tyler, you've been very fast. The Clean Air has been very kind to you to start this race from the pole. What was it like leading all 40?
Pretty smooth. I was just trying to figure out what kind of pace I could run there without burning the right front tire off of it, because you can do that pretty easy and then you'll get super tight on exit and fall back pretty quick. So just trying to manage the pace there, and kind of figured out a little bit something towards the end of practice there that helped me a little bit. And you know, just trying to figure that out. I think I got a good idea of what I need to do. And then, like you said, I lost the lead off there up pit road. I was sitting in my box, didn't realize I was in neutral, so when they dropped the jack, I went to go, and it was just hitting the rev limiter. So got to fix that and try to get back to the front here.
Well, there it is. At least it happens early in the race, and you'll be able to correct that mistake for later. But long race left to go here, over 100 laps. It's gonna be 105 when we go green here. What's the game plan here? How do you attack? I imagine everyone's going to be trying to push for a one stop, but is it going to be possible?
Yeah, I really don't know yet. It's going to be interesting to see what everybody does here. We'll kind of get some laps into this run and then try to figure out what we're going to do. Maybe me and Dustin will split the strategy. That way one of us is on the right end of the stick. So just got to see how it goes here, try to manage the tires, and just try to keep the track position.
Well, Tyler, it looks like qualifying finally went right for you, and it gives you the stage victory. So congratulations then on your Stage 1 victory here from Chicagoland. Best luck to you for the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir.
Driver of the number 6 then out of Phase 2 Chassis Works, Tyler Justice, the Stage 1 winner. Now the field is doubly up, getting ready to go, guys. What did y'all see from stage number 1 that you're going to be looking for here in the second stage?
Yeah, I think for me, is Justice going to be able to work through this traffic, hold the same pace he had there in stage number 1, or will we see newcomers here in the stage, Ellison, maybe Schumacher, or maybe even Powell there in that 5th spot?
I'm really curious about Montgomery. You know, we saw him really loose to just, you know, driving that thing the last 10 laps of the stage. I wonder if he's going to try to set a better pace with himself, especially with the clean air, and try to really keep the tires under him. And I wonder if he'll have better pace this part of the race.
Good points, guys. And you see some of the damaged vehicles trying to return to racing action there. Berger and Anderson. Very small field. What's left here? Already we've lost Christian Swenson from tonight's race, or I guess he's still in the pit lane. So 17 cars on the track, 15, 16 on the lead lap as Berger gets the lucky dog. And the iRacing.com safety vehicle will make that hard left-hand turn into the safety of pit lane, giving the field once again now to Dustin Montgomery Racing, once again from the Windy City. One lap now into green flag racing in stage number 2. Out in front, it's Dustin Montgomery, Tyler Justice, Gabriel Ellison, Sean Powell, Vincent Cortez has risen into the top 5.
And you see, though, Emerson right there, Schumacher is under fire by Robinson in that 46 machine. It's getting very tight there on the top side of the grid. Good run, though, out of Cortez in that 23, now cracked inside of the top 5. But you see how tight that is as there's contact between Robinson and Schumacher. Reese, this could be disastrous heading into 1 and 2.
Yeah, as Schumacher's still on the outside of Robertson. We look a little ahead here. Got Powell and Cortez battling. We got a lot of battles going on here, Emerson, as they come out turn 2, barreling down the backstretch.
Yeah, Powell makes that overtake on Gabriel Ellison. Ellison not lost another spot from the restart. Robertson, look at his charge to the inside of 1. Counted 2 tank cars in 1 corner. He'll fly by Schumacher. He's gotten to the inside of Cortez. Robertson trying to get a 2-for-1 special. And will the coupon still be good? As we head into turn number 1, he'll try to claim it. But Cortez is going to power up around the outside as we head down the back straightaway.
Trying to hold it down for that spot. You see a wonderful shot here on the Racing Network into 3 and 4. There's contact made right there between Cortez and Robinson. Robinson's holding charge right there like a defensive lineman in the trenches. He's going to take that spot away. No, he'll get squeezed out. He's not feeling comfortable in that position as we have fireworks here at Chicagoland.
Robertson isn't done, though. He's looking under Ellison now, up in that P4, P5 position, just marching his way down the bottom lane, using that draft from Tyler Justice in front. He can file back in, but now Justice and Ellison starting to battle for that P3 spot.
Ellison gets to the outside then. Tyler Justice trying to reclaim another spot. Justice working his way in the wrong direction. A battle for the lead. Powell and Montgomery switch spots. Sean Powell has the advantage into turn number 1.
Powell said, look at me now as he takes the lead all by himself. 5th on the restart, now finds himself in the penthouse position into 3 and 4, showing the same speed that Justice showed in stage number 1. Though Montgomery Ellison, they're at a battle for 2nd as Powell will take us down the front stretch all by himself across that start-finish line.
Yeah,
and that first stage, oh, sorry, Emerson, go ahead, buddy. What I was to say is that first stage, you know, everybody taking their own time. This second stage, we have opened up. There's just battles everywhere. People trying all they can. They know how hard it is to pass. As we got guys, from 3rd to 10th here, just under a blanket, battling super hard.
You see contact further back there. That's between Kyle Ryan and Scott Kalal. That for the 8th position. And you're right, guys. The ante has been upped. We saw just what'll happen on a green flag run. These guys, this might be the last time you get to pass in mass tonight. If we go green to the end, it's going to be a very difficult day for you to make up even 2 more spots in this race.
Absolutely. You experimented there in stage number 1. Now you have no more breaks in the action unless it caution.
Oh, contact!
Oh, there it is right there. Emerson, almost Schumacher, who finds himself in a hornet's nest there at the tail side of the grid.
What a save, though, for Kalal. I mean, Ryan just got a little deep in the corner there, and Kalal completely sideways 3 and 4, holds on to it. Doesn't look like there's too much damage there on the back there, Emerson, but now look at Kalal getting a big run around Schumacher.
Oh, he pounds the wall down. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Scott Kalal from one end of the track getting bodied, or I guess, yeah, getting bodied out of the way by Kyle Ryan, saving it. Trying to turn that around, get that spot on Schumacher. He pounds the wall down. And now Ryan clears by Kalal's service, wants a piece of the action as well. Guys, the action is not done yet.
Not at all, Emerson. We're almost 3 wide on the racetrack. Kalal trying to hold that position. As you see, just ahead of Kalal, Service and Ryan are going to go at it. Here comes the 66 of Rosa. He wants to get around Kalal. He's going to look to the inside into 3 and 4. The action has not slowed down since the drop of the green flag. As you see Rosa to the inside of Kalal off the corner.
Nathan Del Rosa with some damage in that very first wreck of the evening. Got most of her repair. Looks like got some pretty good pace. Staying in the draft and trying to get by Kalal here for that top 10 position.
You're trying to use that run to his advantage. The 18 of Jim Harris will pound the wall down. He'll allow Truitt and Jonathan Cofield to power on by. Things are tight once again between Montgomery and Ellison. By the way, it is all Sean Powell out in front. He's got a half-second advantage over the Elliott Sadler esports driver of David Robertson. Facey Chassis works at first and third and fifth. Then with Montgomery and Ellison, Montgomery and Justice third and fifth. Ellison sat fourth out of JBR. Cortez Schumacher sixth and seventh for Tank Racing. Cal Ryan, an independent but a part of that JBR stable, and Max Service ninth there. Tank Racing. Evan De La Rosa trying to force his way. He'll clear by Scott Kalal, and De La Rosa also out of that JBR stable, trying to get down to the inside of that 66 is the 32 of Scott Kalal after pounding the wall down once or twice. He's got that positioning into the corner, searching for that advantage. He'll get tight, and De La Rosa powers up around the outside.
Yeah, you see De La Rosa there on the top side here, down the backstretch. Kalal has to file back in. These are guys that are just trying to scrape out a top 10 in this race if they can. Here comes Cofield to the inside. You see the damage on the back bumper of that machine, just trying to finish inside the top 10. Right now, guys, we're creeping up with about 20 laps to go on this run. No caution flags. We'll start to see those green flag pit stops on lap 80.
Yeah, very tight battling back here. But Emerson, if we want to go back up front, I mean, look at David Robertson, man. Kind of just powered his way through the field and now finds himself all the way up in P2. I don't know if I've seen a driver all week power his way through on restart like that.
And the thing is, guys, yeah, David Robertson, he marched up to the field. He's been doing this all race. He's up 10 spots from where he started. Not the best qualifying run for David Robertson, but Robertson, he really made the most of it on that restart. And now we are now about 15 laps removed from the restart, guys. Now, if you really used up your tires early in the run, you're going to start to feel it here. He's gotten himself positioned here second place. He's got himself an advantage to Montgomery. And he's kind of stayed stagnant with the gap between Powell and Robertson himself. Will this come back to bite him? That very aggressive march to the field. While everyone was being somewhat aggressive, Robertson was really throwing it into the corner and seeing if it will stick. We'll see if we can hang on.
I think for me, I think we saw the same run at Ellison there in stage number 1. You saw Justice sort of lean back in the field just a little bit, allowed Ellison to get that run. If there was maybe a few laps to go there in stage number 1, maybe Ellison could have caught him. We might be seeing the same thing here, but we'll jump back for that battle to stay inside the top 10. There goes De La Rosa there on the top side. Cleo on the low side of the grid. Now Jonathan Cofield is cracked inside the top 10, guys.
Yeah, like I said, you know, under that stage, getting the damage repaired, Cofield finding always way to the top 10. I mean, there was a lot of guys in that first wreck that had a little bit of damage, maybe, you know, got a little banged up. I mean, we saw guys hitting the wall and stuff too, and so getting that damage repaired at stage really playing a big part.
Speaking of damage repaired, Seth Berger is on the pit lane, and this is not a scheduled pit stop, guys. He's now on here 30 seconds and counting in the box. Not what Seth Berger wanted to see. Jonathan Byer has now gotten by for position as well. Add more pain to the day, but it looks like somebody took a bite out of the rear end of the 77 machine, and this day is definitely gonna bite Seth Berger.
Yeah, absolutely not a race that Seth wants to remember here, as we're still watching Robinson there in that second spot, but now he is under fire from Montgomery in that 12, who has caught that draft, has a big run heading into 1 and 2. You see a lot of jockeying for positions here, guys. Still a long way to go. Maybe trying to get the best spot for those pit stops.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny that before on that first stage, right, everybody was kind of cool, calm, and collected. I mean, here the whole field is within, you know, a couple seconds of the leader still. I mean, everybody is still giving it their all and really, you know, getting comfortable with the track. And, you know, we're seeing guys like Robertson move the field. You know, Montgomery was really squirrely that first run. It looks like he's pretty stable now.
And the thing with this strategy, guys, we haven't really delved into it, right? Yes, that first stage was 40 laps, but was that the full extent of the fuel tank? We still have yet to see. When we restarted on lap 45 out of 150, it leaves 105 laps left in the race, right? Assuming you saved perfectly under that caution. you're going to be able, if you can split the rest of that race in half, you got to go 52, 53 laps, right? If you can make it to lap 92, 93, right? No, that's 45 and 52. That's going to be 97, 98. If you can make it to 97 or 98, you might have a chance at that. Well, actually, you would make that one stop. You would be able to make it to the end. Does that require saving is going to be the next question. The difference, right, between last night the trucks and here is significantly different in terms of how much on throttle time there is. You have to lift a lot to get down to the bottom in these B cars. You are on the brakes essentially, which is much different to the trucks where you are basically wide open the entire night.
Yeah, absolutely. You're already starting to see it as Reese was spotlighting there. It's a different stage that we're seeing. In stage number 1, you saw Justice separate Ellison with a run. Now here, though, the field's a lot more tighter here in this long run we've had. No cautions yet here since the drop of the green flag. You see Justice is in this mix. He's quietly in that 5th spot. Ellison's quietly in the 4th. You're not seeing big runs out of these guys. It's a lot more calm, cool, and collected, as Reese touched on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm curious too. You know, we saw guys moving up early as now. Just as I was thinking, Ellison starting to move that higher lane. I wonder if guys are going to be a little bit earlier on this run. We saw how much speed they had. I wonder if guys are going to join Ellison up there in the higher lanes.
Absolutely. And we're about to that point now, guys. If you can't make it on a 1-stop, then you're going to try the 2-stop at lap 45. The 2-stop. 105 laps to go. You split this race into thirds. That is even. We have a battle for second here. We go Robertson and Montgomery. We'll get back to that in a second. Montgomery dives down to the inside, trying to clear the 46. And Montgomery will clear into that second spot. Once again, making a phase 2 chassis. He works 1-2. And you have to wonder, is Montgomery paying for that early push?
Yeah, Robinson's still right there on that back bumper into 3 and 4. I think Robinson tried a different line there, went to the top side of the racetrack. You saw the run he had coming off there, actually got loose off the corner. Montgomery now solid in that 2nd spot. You see Ellison and Justice rounding out our top 5 into 1 and 2. Very tight for these top 4 positions as Powell still has a half a second lead off the corner.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you know, the top 5, we were saying about they're being spaced out. Looks like 2nd through 4th here, 5th here, all kind of really closing in on each other. You wonder if guys are, you know, we're about halfway through that run here, so they're flipping the switch. They're putting the laps down and really using all the tires they got left.
Absolutely, which was going to get me to the second point about strategy, right? Is if you're not doing the 1-stop, you can't make it to lap 97, 98, right? That's too tall of a task for you. Then you're going to be right with what Will was saying earlier with the 2-stop strategy, where you pit at lap 80, and then from there you'll go to lap 115. On that 2-stop, we'll see which of the strategies prevails more. We'll be getting 2 fresh sets of tires at the expense of an extra pit stop, or potentially having to save a little fuel but making it only 1 time down the pit lane. We'll see which strategy prevails. There's the battle for 3rd. Ellison, Robertson, and Tyler Justice.
Yeah, Ellison's going to take Justice with him on that back bumper. Going to force Robinson up the track. Is going to leave no options for him as Justin's still going to be to the inside there. Ellison will take the 3rd spot. Robinson with a good move now to go to the inside of Ellison's going to force Ellison up the racetrack. Going to give the run to Robinson here on the low side as they're going to come very, very close. Oh my goodness, that's as close as you can get right there as Ellison will hold it down across that start-finish line into 1 and 2.
Yeah, Ellison and Justice back here just kind of, you know, being methodical, you know, letting the tire track come to them. And Robertson, you know, like we talked about earlier, had that big, massive restart and prevailed up there. But now the tires, you know, passing all those guys can really hurt you. And as we see, you know, dropping slowly back and forth. But luckily for him, though, you know, if he is doing that 2-stop strategy, it is looking pretty good. But, you know, and you never know by caution-wise if that will help him out.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the early push is coming back to bite him, right? But he might have committed to the 2-stop. And if he committed to the 2-stop, he'd be looking to pit here in about 5 laps. But again, if the 1-stop is the fast strategy, which we'll still have to wait and see, He's really going to be in trouble with this now drop through the field. Ellison, of course, made easy work then at the 46. He did make a great move once they cleared Justice to get back down to the inside of the 36, but again, not able to keep up with it as Justice is coming right back.
Yeah, Justice still lingering inside the top 5. Now you start to see Schumacher and Cortez start to come back into the picture as well. We're going to ride on board with Justice here. Keep seeing that window of opportunity there to the inside of Robinson, but as Reese touched on it here, you don't want to press the issue too much as all that tire wear starts to come into play here in 3 and 4. Justice still going to stay on the back bumper of Robinson for that 4th spot. Starting to see those strategies now start to rise to the surface across that start-finish line and make it lap 77 into 1.
Yeah, just coming up to halfway here. As it looks like Justice going to dive down the inside of Robertson's. Try to make it stick there on the bottom lane. Robertson using the banking, all 11%. Trying to prevail on the side, but not going to quite do it. Justice going to be able to take top 4 here for him.
Justice back into 4th, and you're right, guys, right at that halfway point, by the way. That's brought in Scott Kalaw down the pit lane. A little bit of rear end damage. Not the preferred look of the car, that 32 machine, but is this the beginning of it? Is this the first short pit of the 2-stop strategy? And is Kalaw going to be able to make this work? Halfway left in the race. He pits now. The rest of the race, he's going to go about 38 laps on a tank of fuel. That should be easy. Can they do 38 laps on tires and make the most out of them will be the question.
Yeah, it's all about which strategy they want to take now as Montgomery has a huge run on Powell. Where did he come from? Like rockets on the back of that 12 machine. He is now right on the back bumper. The 2 liquid molly machines will go 1-2 into 1 and 2. You see the speed now here in this race. Montgomery looks to the inside with a battle for the lead off of 2.
Powell trying to hold it down, wide open on the high side. Gonna squeak out in front of Montgomery, but Montgomery's not done yet. Emerson, as we enter 3 and 4, probably gonna try to get another big run coming down the front stretch.
Absolutely. Montgomery, he was kind of seeing what he could do with teammate Sean Powell, right? Seeing where he can get that run, studying the 1 car, seeing where the advantage for the 12 lies around this track. He saw a little bit there, wasn't able to make the entire overtake, but now Powell taking his line away, taking that dirty air and putting it right in the lap of the 12 machine. Montgomery's got to contest that and still has to try to find a way around this 1 machine without burning up the stuff, and to have to keep in mind that Ellison and Justice are coming quick.
Yeah, Montgomery's right there on the back bumper. He's just saying what's up. He just wants to chill for a minute as he's on the back bumper of Powell across that start-finish line. You see Ellison, you see Justice right there in the top 4 again. Montgomery's going to look to the inside here into 1 and 2. It's going to drift just a little bit, reaching that apex. Powell is right back behind the back bumper of Powell as again they're 1-2 into 3 and 4. I don't see we've seen the you see Montgomery gets loose into 3 and 4. That's gonna change it up, guys, as we're off the corner.
Emerson, I just got where people are pitting. Here they come.
Powell sideways, Ellison, Robertson coming in. Oh baby. The pit lane is busy. Kyle Ryan, Logan Truitt, Nathan De La Rosa, 6 into the pit lane this lap.
And guys, what about Montgomery there? Had no idea that Powell was going in. You saw how much Powell had to hit those brakes from Montgomery. He's now going to be a lap behind everybody.
Here we go off the corner. Montgomery's not slowing down. He's committing to the 1 stop. It seems at this point you would have to commit. Cortez coming in fast, hot sideways. They'll get it well down. Cofield in as well. On pit out, it's looks like Powell is out. Ellison, Robertson, Ryan Truitt, and De La Rosa. Again, on the end is Cortez and Cofield. Around the track once again, Montgomery ahead of Tyler Justice, Schumacher, Service, Jim Harris, Bobby Anderson, the 6 cars staying out. And if you're staying out to this point, guys, Service is coming in. Sideways, he'll get it well down.
You know, Emerson, with Montgomery and Justice staying out there, with everybody on new tires rather, they're going to be running about 2 seconds a lap faster than those 2. So you wonder if, you know, even though you stay longer or maybe they're committed to the one-stop strategy, but man, they're gonna be losing a lot of time.
Right. What you have to think about with that one stop, right, is yes, you get that one less trip down pit lane. We're seeing pit lane trips are about 40 to 43 seconds. That's a lot of time on the racetrack. But if you can make up that time on fresh tires over the course of the race, that's going to be something else. David Robertson, by the way, sets the fastest lap of the day, a 31 flat.
And you've seen Justice this race, our stage 1 winner, had to work through traffic there during that run. Right now we're having that Yahtzee reshuffle of the grid. All those waves of green flag pit stops will come into play. We'll have our true leaders rise to the top here in just a little while. And guys, it's been a very, very tight race all night. You start to see those leaders pull off and then a big run. I think the end of this race is going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got, I believe that's Jim Harris coming in to road there, and I think Adrian Schumacher's coming in.
Schumacher's coming in. Montgomery's coming in, guys. So I don't know if anyone is going to try to one-stop Montgomery sideways at the pit line. Hopefully he got down to pit lane speed for his sake. So it looks like maybe the one-stop out of the question here with 10 laps to go to make that one-stop work. Only 2 cars are still out there, so it must be a far-fetched idea. Maybe I was the only one out there on that line of thinking. I probably would have gotten boomed if I was the one calling the strategy. Justice,
as it looks like that was tight right there, Emerson.
Between teammates, Powell unlapping himself. Justice to pit lane speed. Did he get down there?
I think he did. We got Bobby Anderson, the last guy out here. Emerson still has a pit. Maybe try to get that bonus point for leading the lap.
Well, he's going to have to hope his pit box is ahead of Justice and before the start-finish line, or after the start-finish line, but Anderson comes down, and of course, Justice was the pole sitter, so that's not out of the question. So Anderson tried, but it will not prevail in terms of getting a lap led. I do know Sean Powell takes the lead. Lap 87 of 115, so everyone's committing to the 2-stop. But what Tyler Justice can now do, right? He's going to come out. This is, 6 lap fresher tires. And he's going to have more options later in this race.
Yeah, and I think, Reese, if you could here, I think what it comes down to is it's going to be that run towards the end. You've seen guys separate, get those leads. Will these guys on the fresher equipment have enough laps to create those runs on the stretch?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last night I did very similar to what Justice and Montgomery did. I did a late pit strategy, and it prevailed for me. I was able to gain a bunch of spots. If you wonder if guys are looking at last night's race, or maybe we've seen some guys, they just kind of stick to things like that. If some guys like to pit late all the time, some guys like to pit early all the time. So everybody's got their preference, but I'm really curious to see how Montgomery and Justice get through the field. The only issue is coming out late. Obviously, is you got traffic. So even though you got fresher tires, damage. I'm not saying you're gonna hit anybody, but tight racing and with all the wall and just see how tight these cars are. Don't want to pick up any unnecessary damage passing through the lappers, or not lappers, but slower field.
Tyler Justice out of phase 2 chassis works. He sets the fastest lap on the day. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, this is the only sub 31 lap time on the night. At a 30.93, Tyler Justice is cooking around the Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, absolutely. Has some dogs to get around, though, on the racetrack. Montgomery right there. Ryan, we haven't mentioned his name at all. Service up there in that 81 machine. Cortez has been very strong holding down spots. Robinson, we've seen the runs out of the 48, so although there's some rockets on the back of those Goodyear Eagles for Justice, has some dogs to get through if he wants to get back inside the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Justice 7 seconds back, but 6 lap pressure tires. Will that be enough for Justice to overcome over the course of the day? And now, guys, with that pit stop, you're then shifting your attention to the lap 115 mark. But Tyler Justice, with him pitting at lap 86, if he ran that entire length again, He's looking at lap, 127, 128. I mean, Justice could go a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm just looking at the lap times here, Emerson. Looks like John Powell there with a 31.873, and then Justice 31.261. So 0.6 a lap faster, and he's right about 6.7, 6.6 seconds back. You wonder if about 10 laps a year or so, if he keeps his pace up, he might be on the leaders.
You might be, and while we have this grab bag of strategy, let's go ahead and catch up. Guys, you'll have access to, the pit lap and lap times. Let's go ahead and take a time to take a look through the field here at Chicagoland. Here at the front of the field, of course, Sean Powell, the race leader, started 4th on the day and currently has a half-second advantage over Ellison and Robertson. Sean Powell right now trying to hold out in front. He came in on lap 80, of course, searching for that lap 115 pit to finish out the race, and he's opened up a 10th on Ellison since I started talking about him.
Yeah, look at Ellison. Also, Robinson. We spoke about Robinson there in that 46 machine. Has held strong inside the top 5, fought for positions all night long. Ellison, of course, right in front of him with those great runs we saw in stage number 1 and also in stage number 2. He's been top 3 all night. Then you jump back a little bit there, Reese, to Cortez in that 23 machine. He's been quiet but strong here all night.
Yeah, Vincent Cortez starting P14 all the way up to P4, and guys, he has 1 lap fresher tires than the top 3 here, so you wonder if that might play a factor coming here to the end of the race. Maybe, if he doesn't get the advantage now, maybe on the next pit stop, maybe having maybe 1 or maybe even 2 lap fresher tires, so maybe just keeping that minimum speed up. And as we go back behind him, Emerson, we got Dustin Montgomery on those fresher tires that we were talking about.
Yeah, Dustin Montgomery, again, 5 lap fresher tires than the leader, Sean Powell. Montgomery's got about a 3-second deficit to make up in terms of Sean Powell being the end goal for this 12 machine when they were battling it out right before pit stops, and then really caught him off guard right with that Powell caught him off guard with that pit stop. I mean, right in the thick of the battle, Powell just slowed down and turned left off the racing surface. Now Montgomery trying to work his way past Vincent Cortez in this battle. And then here's that man we've been talking about, guys, Tyler Justice, right now in that 6th position. Our pole sitter pitted 6 laps after Sean Powell did. And guys, when I last mentioned it, he was 7.3 seconds back, guys. He is now 3.6 as Montgomery is going to make that pass on Vincent Cortez.
Yeah, big run out of Montgomery to get past Cortez there. But we jump back to a guy in the 81 machine of service who's just sort of lingered inside the top 10. We've seen him jockeying for positions every now and then. He has held that inside lane all race along. Just very clean, guys. No trouble out of the 81. Is just a good day at the office for that spot. For Schumacher, though, behind him in that 82 machine, has felt a little bit of an issue here. Was top 3 to start the race, top 5, scrapped it out. A few pit strategies along the way has brought that 82 machine down to the 8th spot. Still very strong, just might run out of laps to get the finish to where they started in that 82 machine. And then Reese, we jumped to a few guys that we haven't called out here tonight. The 89 of Ryan and Truitt in that 35.
Yeah, Kyle Ryan, started 18th up to 9th, so definitely a good run for him. We were talking too early. At the start of the race, the point situation. I believe we saw Kyle Ryan just inside the top 15, so definitely wants another good running. And here he goes, finds himself in the 9th position. I'm pitting him back on lap 80, so on the same strategy as the leaders, but just holding strong. And P9, if you look behind him, we got Logan Truitt, who started P15 up to 10th. It's a solid top 10 so far for Truitt. Definitely going to be looking for more positions as the race ticks down. And he also pitted on lap 80. As Emerson right behind him, the guy that got in the wreck earlier, Jonathan Cofield.
Yeah, Jonathan Cofield involved in that lap 1 incident where I believe it was Bayer got tight on the bottom of the racetrack, came up, slid up into the 58, and then made heavy contact. Then Bayer, Cofield, and Seth Berger all came together. Bayer and Berger, they have had rough days. Cofield, he's had the best of those 3 drivers involved in that incident. Got that damage repaired. He's just outside the top 10, but he's had the chance to be inside the top 10 pitted on lap 81. He's got 1 lap fresher tires on the 2 cars in front of him, and he might show it here in the coming laps. Behind him is Nathan De La Rosa then in that 12th position, about half a lap behind race leader Sean Powell. Nathan De La Rosa lost 2 spots from the initial start of this race, qualified 10th back to 12th. He pitted on lap 80. The strategy, the timing, a little bit of damage, I'd imagine, from that lap 1 incident. Maybe got caught up with some of the checkup for that lap 1 incident, and that rear end, that front end is showing it. A little crinkle for the 66 machine, just trying to bring it home. And if I'm not mistaken, Nathan De La Rosa was around that cut line as well. So De La Rosa lugging it out, fighting through all these laps because, quite frankly, he has to. In terms of playoff positioning, if he's going to make the playoffs, he's got to fight it through this day.
Absolutely there, Emerson. It's good to keep that car out there, try to scrape out as many points as possible. And as Reese just touched on it, Jonathan Cofield, definitely one of those names that has to go in that hat. A driver involved in that very first caution of the night, keeps that 58 machine out there, is in line to get a top 10 finish out of here. So we know how much those points are going to come down this stretch. If you can have early troubles and still get a top 10 out of the race, but it'll feel like you've taken home that checkered flag. And talking about taking checkered flags home, guys, right now Powell's lead is almost up to a second with 48 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Emerson, I believe we actually had a pass up for P3, P4. I think Montgomery got past Robertson just previous lap, and we see right there, we see Justice working right around Bobby Anderson. I believe as well, Emerson, if I'm not mistaken, I think Justice may or may not have gotten to the wall back on lap 95. I don't know if you can pull up that replay or not.
Lap 95, that might be an intriguing dig. Let's see what we've got pulled up here. Tyler Justice, of course, caught up to Max Service. This is back on lap 94, trying to make the overtake on Max Service. And Jonathan Byer in front of the 81 allows Justice to get on through. And Justice, absolutely picking him up and putting him down today. And then here was Tyler Justice, lap 95. This is just behind Dustin Montgomery in that 12 machine, and Justice trying to run the fastest laps he can, trying to run quality lap after quality lap, and just a kiss. But that pancake to the side of the wall, oh, that scrape. We'll see if he's able to keep that 6 machine in good running.
Yeah, actually looking at the lap times last time by for Tyler Justice, it's now gotten to an equal mark of everybody else there. Reese running a 32.6 last time by. We'll see what it is here around these last set of corners. He's going to get around Robinson there for the 4th spot. So even though he did kiss the wall there, is going to cross the start-finish line here. We'll take a look at those lap times. Justice still is keeping it moving, keeping it grooving, rocking a 32.6 last time by. That puts him in that front 5 in lap times. As you see, Montgomery, he's now battling out with Ellison for the 2nd spot.
Yeah, Ellison using that high line to prevail. We talked about it earlier, Montgomery pitting early, pitting later. Having those fresh tires compared to Ellison and Powell and these front runners. And Ellison, even though he's got those older tires, Emerson, he's using that high line to his advantage. Using the baking, getting those big runs down the straightaways as they enter turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. A great dogfight here. Ellison, of course, with that win last time out at Iowa, he's searching to try to go back-to-back. Montgomery searching for his 5th. Sideways is the 12 machine up out of the corner, but they are 9/10 of a second back of Sean Powell, searching for his 1st win on the season. The battle for 2nd rages on still.
Montgomery trying to chip away at the mountain. That is Ellison. Here's Montgomery. Oh my goodness, has to steer that thing clear of Ellison on the top side as these two are Ali and Frazier on the racetrack. Body shot after body shot as Montgomery trying to get that nose ahead of Ellison off the corner for 2nd.
Oh, tight as they come out of the corner, but Ellison's still there, guys. Man, what is it, 2-3 laps in a row now these two have been side by side. Montgomery's diving it back down there. Ellison trying to make a stick. Montgomery sideways, sliding up at the track and close. Oh my goodness.
Tight racing, guys, for the top spot, or I'm sorry, for the second spot here at Chicagoland, and Tyler Justice is there, guys. He wants a piece of the action. What lane will he go with? Will he jump up high? Will he stay in that middle, or will he turn it down low? Montgomery's still fighting for grip. That wheel making many correcting moves. Justice is going to give a push to the 12 machine into the corner. Ellison hanging on to that 36 beautifully, and the 12 of Montgomery hanging on for dear life.
Mama, here comes that man again, as Justice in that 6 machine is a shark in the water. He sees the minnows biting it out in front of him. He wants to get by these two, as right now he's on the back bumper of Montgomery, who's to the low side of Ellison. Justice looks to the inside off the corner, trying to make it 3 wide. Guys, this is putting a rocket back there on the launch pad. Justice trying everything he can. Currently in 4th with 40 laps to go.
Allison doing a great job just holding it down, just using that high line to his advantage, and Montgomery, man, just wheeling that thing sideways almost half the track. You know, Justice, you know, was watching the party. He's like, I need to join. And so these 3 under a blanket, Emerson, as they come out of turn 2.
Sideways there, Tyler Justice was trying to stay with the 12, and look at how hard Justice is trying to push his phase 2 chassis work teammate of Dustin Montgomery past the 36 of Gabriel Ellison. Look at the wheel turning, and here comes Justice to the pit lane. The last one in last time is going to be the first one in this time.
And undercut this run here, Emerson. That's going to leave Powell at the top. Ellison right there. Montgomery in 3rd. Robinson 4th. Schumacher is currently up to 5th. As now Montgomery and Ellison are side by side into 3 and 4, guys. This is a battle for 2nd on the racetrack. Both have to pit before this race is over. Who will get it? As Montgomery inches ahead of Ellison off the corner.
Oh!
Yeah, what a battle between these two, man. It was a 3, 5, 6 laps almost. These guys were side by side, and, you know, unfortunately for Montgomery, now that his tire advantage is probably definitely gone, and fortunately for Sean Powell, he was enjoying what he saw in the rear view. He's kind of got almost a 2.5 lead now, Emerson.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Powell was a big fan of everything that happened behind. And guys, with Tyler Justice, I mean, yes, he's trying the undercut, guys, but he also, I mean, he pitted with the freshest tires in the field first. I mean,
Sean Powell's down.
Yeah, Sean Powell, the leader, is in. Tyler Justice flipped strategies from going longest to pitting first. How will that play out for the 6 machine? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, absolutely. You wonder, Emerson, you know, you saw Montgomery and Ellison battling it out. He's like, you know what? I need to make time other ways. So he decided to come in early and just avoid that battle completely.
I think that's a great analysis of it. And then here comes Montgomery. Robertson, they're coming in. Someone came in hot. I don't know if they both got down to pit lane speed, guys. That'll be something to watch out as well, as Gabriel Ellison takes the lead of this race. And this is going to flip this race on its roof. If one of those guys sped, that might be game. Well, that should be game over, really, if without a magic yellow cloth. But looking at the pit times, looks like Robertson had a slow stop, but they both, Robertson and Montgomery, get out and away. Tank driver Schumacher and Service are in.
It's going to be a wild finish, guys. Anybody's race here towards the end. Will it be Justice? Will it be Montgomery? Will Powell be able to get back up there to the top of the grid? As we watch the 81 of Service take their pit stop. 34 laps to go here on the Speed Racing Network. We're in for one heck of a finish here in the Windy City.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it looks like Vincent Cortez, Emerson, entering pit road sideways, keeping it down there. Should be fine on the pit line, and we'll see if any others follow suit here.
Yeah, puff of smoke as he slid down to pit entry, but we've seen that a lot today. We'll see. Oh, he'll slide to the box. Oh, my goodness. Cortez, little rusty, right? He's missed quite a bit of starts this season, still trying to point his way into the play, or so I guess point his way into the playoffs, or win his way into the playoffs, one of those ways. Ellison, the leader, is in. Oh, sideways.
Which strategy will pay off, guys? Now our leader Ellison heads down. That's going to put Truett at the top of the grid. Cofield right there, Ryan, and you see Ellison right there, still registered fourth now down pit road. And you see the dominoes start to fall, and you see Justice. If you look at the scoring pylon, guys, Justice will be at the top of this group, if you will, of Powell, Montgomery, Anderson's right there, Robinson as well. Will Justice able to hold on here towards the end?
Yeah, it was a very interesting strategy call, Emerson, like we talked about, him being the last one in the first stop and now being the first one in this time. And, I'm really curious to see if Justice can leapfrog these guys and maybe fend off in the coming laps. And as we see Max Service
Oh my goodness!
through another, Cortez.
Oh my gosh, he is slicing and dicing. Dude, a lapped car of Jonathan Byer and the leader of Logan Truett. Truett's coming down. What a dive from Vincent Cortez, and here comes Cofield as well. Oh, they're coming in hot, guys. Kyle Ryan is in as well.
Yeah, as we watch those chips begin to fall, Tyler Justice will be our race leader when everybody heads down. Going to leave Sean Powell right behind him. Montgomery, Robinson, Schumacher, Ellison right there would be your top five. As everything shakes out right now, Justice will take the lead. Has Sean Powell right behind him. Tyler Justice back in that penthouse position, guys. Very fast all night now. Back in that open air with 30 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was just going through the field there. I think someone just coming out of pit road might have just lost it into turn 1 and 2 in the grass there. I'm not sure who it was exactly. I don't know if you'll be able to find it.
Trying to see here.
It might have
Looks
been.
like Scott Kalal had a long
I think it
pit
was
box
Jim
time.
Harris, actually. You can go on lap 120. I got it here.
Oh my goodness, Cofield nearly into the back then of Jim Harris. And yeah, you're right, Jim Harris is the one that went off track. We'll get a look at it on the pit exit here. Unfortunate for Jim Harris, trying to come out with a decent result and ice cold tires. I'll find some lovely grass to try to cover him up and warm him up, I guess.
Good save, though. You go over there, mow a little grass there on the infield. You don't affect anything up on the track. So good on the 18 to keeping that thing low and keeping the thing moving on the racetrack.
Speaking about moving on the racetrack, guys, we are moving to the front of the field. The battle is on. Tyler Justice, the pole sitter, Sean Powell searching for his first win, side by side for the race lead.
Ding, 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 ding. The fight has started as Powell's to the inside of Justice there side by side. In this shot, we see Montgomery is right there as well. He has a front side seat to this, as it looks like Powell's going to go to the inside into 3 and 4. They're going to be side by side for the race lead. Sean Powell is trying to take the lead away from Justice off of 4. So tight as we cross the start-finish line.
Justice not done yet, though. Looking back on Sean Powell, trying to find where he can get some that clean air as they enter turn 1 and 2. Emerson, the top 3 about to be under a blanket here on lap 125.
Top 3 in the lap machine of Nathan De La Rosa, all nose to tail within half a second of one another. Tyler Justice falls to Sean Powell, and now Justice falls to the lap machine of Nathan De La Rosa as well. This is not... Well, I guess De La Rosa is running his own race, but affecting the battle for the lead, this is going to be an intriguing one, as Montgomery now has to peek to the inside of Tyler Justice. And now Montgomery can keep that bottom rolling. Have to file in behind Powell, as De La Rosa will unlap himself. Now the top 3 phase 2 chassis work machine cars all lined up nose to tail, and you just have to think, why did Tyler Justice do that short pit? Will it be his demise tonight?
I think with Nathan De La Rosa up there really playing blocker spoiler to this party. Now it is clear Sean Powell is leading the way. Montgomery is thinking to the inside, and as you just touched on, Emerson, Justice losing just a little bit of pace as this race winds down with 24 laps to go. Justice makes contact coming off of 2. That might all but wrap up the speed of the 6 with 24 laps to go.
Tough break for Tyler Justice, man. He was such, one of those guys we were watching all night long, kind of climbing through the field with that pit strategy, changing it up, and man, just catching the wall pretty good there, a little bit harder than earlier, and hopefully he can hold on to that P3 spot, Emerson. But as we go back up front here, Sean Powell under attack from Dustin Montgomery.
Yeah, guys, Tyler Justice is falling quick as the leaders will move their way past Jonathan Byer. 23 laps to go from Chicago. And Dustin Montgomery trying to get his his 5th win on the season. Sean Powell is trying to get his first. And if Sean Powell is going to take his first win on the season, he's going to have to take it from his behemoth, dominant teammate that is Dustin Montgomery.
Yeah, just as you say that, Emerson, Montgomery looks to the inside of Powell in the corner. I think right now Montgomery is just toying with his teammate. Is he going to stay on the left fender as he follows back behind the back bumper into 3 and 4? You see Montgomery keeps looking to the inside, making his teammate honest right there, as you almost saw contact between the 1 and 12, but it will be Powell taking us across the line into 1 and 2.
Yeah, Montgomery, like we talked about earlier, that very first run of the race, he was really sideways, and this last run, he was kept the car in control, gaining a lot of spots, and it looks like he's trying to peek under Powell there. We got a loose Jim Harris up in front there, but these two battling out. Looks like they're side by side coming in turn 3, Emerson.
Oh, contact! Oh my goodness, Montgomery makes slight contact with the quarter panel of Powell, and Montgomery's gonna be the one who goes for a slide. Oh, that could have been disastrous for the phase 2 chassis work, guys, as David Robertson, he's gotten by Ellison. They've both gotten by Tyler Justice in 3rd and 4th.
And you kept seeing it, though, Emerson. Montgomery kept dipping his toes in the water, seeing if the pool water was cold or if it was a warm pool. He found out it was ice cold as he got loose off of that move. We jumped back inside the top 5, though. Robinson to the inside of Ellison. This is to stay right on that podium. Ellison's trying to hold down that 3rd spot, a spot he's maintained all race long. Robinson's going to follow back behind the back bumper, make it 19 laps to go. Ellison will hold on the podium into 1 and 2.
Gabriel Ellison onto the podium, trying to continue this streak of great finishes for this 36 machine. Adrian Schumacher, he's looking to make easy work of the wounded number 6, Tyler Justice, and Schumacher passes into the top 5, and with that pass, guys, that's a $10 pass. He'll get his entry fee back for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Emerson, I'm looking at the pit laps here, and looks like Ellison pitted 3 laps later than Powell and Montgomery. 4 laps, actually, for Powell and 3 laps for Montgomery, so you wonder if Ellison might be on a late charge here.
That's a good point, Reese. 3 lap fresher tires and 4 lap fresher tires into 2 liters for Ellison. And these two have been battling tooth and nail. So Ellison, if he's taking care of his stuff, might have a say late in this race. Jonathan Byer into the pit lane, guys. And looks like that one. No, he's just working on the car, I guess.
Talking about there, Gabriel Ellison has now run a faster lap than our leaders last time by. It's not much, guys, but it is something. Ellison will take the win here with 17 laps to go. Once he finds that out, that's that new self-confidence you have inside the cockpit of that race car. You know you're fast. It's whether or not you can get up there now with 16 laps to go.
Yeah, all Ellison needs is just these top 2 to battle out just like they were earlier, and he can probably walk all the way up there, guys. So I'm really curious to see if these top guys are maybe wondering about that, but obviously, they're probably just focused on out of the race, and you wonder if Ellison might be able to sneak in here.
You have to wonder, guys. Yeah, if Montgomery is fixated on trying to get his 5th win on the season, and Powell trying to secure his 1st, and more than anything, Sean Powell wants that first win on the season. He's had enough of seeing his two teammates, Dustin Montgomery and Tyler Justice, celebrate victories through 8 races on the season. Powell is saying it's my turn, and he wants it. He's gonna have to fight for it here with Dustin Montgomery. All the while, if they're not careful, guys, you're right, they might allow Gabriel Ellison right into the battle.
Yeah, and he's coming, Emerson. Gabriel Ellison is coming in that 3rd spot. Now has that down to about a 1.5 on the racetrack. You see it just briefly click up. Gabriel Ellison's lap times are just on par with Dustin Montgomery and Sean Powell. We just see it last time by. Actually just a tad slower than our race leader, so he'll get up there, guys. Will he have enough laps to make a move? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, you know, Emerson back up to the top too. We saw Powell, you know, and Montgomery had that little contact. Now it looks like Montgomery's, you know, even though he's close, looks like, yeah, a little bit, you know, I don't know if there's any damage affecting him because he has been really sideways.
It could be that, guys. It could also be Montgomery really overheated his stuff, especially those rear tires, trying to throw that car into the corner and hope it sticks. The 12 car might be in trouble. We've seen him loose all day. Montgomery's fast, but is he fast at the expense of his equipment? I guess we're starting to see here with 13 laps to go. So tight racing here. Cofield and Truett. This is for the final, or it's 9th place inside the top 10. Truett around the outside, and he'll make that pass maybe on Cofield. Cofield drives it deep. Truett keeps it pitting on the high side. And it's tightening up once again up front.
Yeah, back up to the front here. You see Powell still holding it down. Montgomery, as Reese just mentioned, very, very loose, sliding around these corners here with 12 laps to go. Ellison, though, meanwhile, in that 3rd spot, has it down to a 2.5. As Montgomery gets looser, that door is going to get even wider for Ellison to come up to this pack. Make it 11 laps to go. Will we see a first-time winner this season? Montgomery continue his dominance, or will Gabriel Ellison creep up to the top of the grid? Guys, what a finish we have here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking just ahead in the front, Emerson, looks like we have a lapper of Nathan De La Rosa coming up. So you wonder if that might play a factor in this battle if Powell can't get around him cleanly.
We'll have to wait and see, guys. Look at that right front. There is damage to Dustin Montgomery's machine. Is that affecting him? Is that the reason why Dustin Montgomery cannot once again close up to Sean Powell all the way? Is Montgomery stuck in that 0.2 of a second deficit, sliding all over the seams in that abrasive track surface out of turn number 2?
And Reese, I wanted to ask you, if you're the 12 of Montgomery, you feel this car getting away from you, you want to see your teammate in victory lane. Is this when you turn into a blocker? You know Gabriel Ellison's coming. He's coming in a hurry. You start to play teammate now as your race is slipping away.
Yeah, I would like to think so. I mean, you know, Montgomery, you know, even though he obviously like to win, he's got a lot on the season, and with that little damage, probably not helping. So he's probably now all of a sudden, you know, not really focused on Powell. He's probably looking at his rear view and seeing Ellison get closer and closer. So you wonder if we'll see him try to do what he did earlier and mirror his line like we saw earlier in the race. And you wonder if he'll become a blocker for Powell coming here with the 9 laps to go, now 8 laps to go.
Guys, it's tightening up. Ellison within a second. Powell approaches the lap car. He wants to go high. The lap car sits high. Powell's got a lift. That's going to help Ellison. De La Rosa trying to stay and fight for the lead lap here. He's entitled to do so. Is it morally right? Well, that's not really for us to argue, but we get to watch it all unfold.
Powell looks to the inside of the lapped car of De La Rosa. Montgomery goes high, very, very loose coming off of 4. You see Ellison in that shot. Going to be 7 laps to go. Powell trying to get his first victory of the season, holding off a dog behind him in that 12, who is slip sliding around this racetrack, still finds himself in that 2nd spot as we come down the backstretch here into 3 and 4.
You gotta remember, once again, Emerson, De La Rosa and Ellison are teammates, so you wonder if Ellison's calling up to De La Rosa, being like, hey, you know, mind help me out, try to make these guys battle. And sure enough, Emerson, these two are getting a lot closer, and Ellison's just with 7 laps to go, probably 2 or 3 laps here, Emerson, he's gonna be all over these guys.
Well, guys, as a result of Powell having to lift because of Nathan De La Rosa, Montgomery is there, and just like Ellison wanted, they're gonna do battle. Montgomery sideways trying to keep the throttle down. He'll slide back in behind the one machine, and Ellison's loving it.
Oh my goodness, Montgomery felt himself get sideways there, had to come off of the gas pedal or else he would have taken out his teammate. Coming off of 4, Montgomery still right there. Ellison's creeping up. Now we have 5 laps to go into 1 and 2.
That gap now almost under half a second here for Ellison. Looks like Montgomery's still trying to find a way around Powell, seeing what areas he can get fresh air. But that car, man, just completely sideways for Montgomery, trying to hold on to her as we come down the backstretch, Emerson.
0.7 of a second to deficit, and another race car still sits in between Powell and Ellison. It's the teammate, of course, Dustin Montgomery. But what team is Montgomery playing for? I think right now it's just Team Dustin Montgomery, because Montgomery is still fighting hard tooth and nail with teammate Sean Powell. And Ellison, guys, he's caught, but right now he's kind of stalled out. I think he's going to need a massive battle from the top 2 if he's going to continue to close.
You know, like Ricky Bobby, he is on team me right now into 3 and 4 laps to go. Starting to see some late race separation as Powell is going to take us off the corner. Montgomery in second, Ellison in third, as we'll make it 3 laps to go. Throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because Powell just has 3 laps to go until his first checkered flag.
Yeah, you know, Emerson, Ellison, you know, while he was catching these guys, he had the benefit of all that clean air. Now up to Montgomery here, and that dirty air definitely playing a factor. Like, I see him struggling with a little bit of understeer. Really, car really trying to pull up the track for him, but here he goes, closing in on Montgomery as we come out of turn 4. They're coming to 2 to go here, Emerson.
2 laps to go, guys. 3 miles to settle the score here from the Windy City. Joliet, Illinois has given us a great show all 3 nights this week, and tonight the Z Grill Series is putting on a good one here. Powell only 0.3 of a second clear of teammate Dustin Montgomery, and Gabriel Ellison now within half a second of Powell. He's got Dustin Montgomery to go. Out of turn number 4, guys, it'll be 1 lap to go.
2 laps to go, coming off the corner. Now Powell looks as though he's got it. He'll get the white flag into 1 and 2. Ellison's now on the back bumper of Montgomery. It is too little too late as Powell will take us off the corner.
Montgomery with a send there. Wonder if he was trying to get some room. Oh, Ellison's to be looking the inside, Emerson, as they come down the backstretch.
Side by side in the battle for second. Montgomery sent it, and it might cost him second. It'll be a send from Ellison to see if he can get up to Sean Powell. Out of turn number 4, though, for the first time this season, Sean Powell is going to win here at Chicagoland.
You see the love from the teammate of Montgomery comes and gives them the race car fist bump, if you will. There's Ellison right there as well for Powell. First victory on the season, guys. Did it in an incredible fashion. Didn't get overshadowed by Justice at all. Worked his way up to the top of the grid. Used that strategy to his advantage. Now gets his first checkered flag of the season.
Sean Powell, he'll approach the front straightaway. He'll be the driver sitting in EPI victory lane, and he'll begin to light up the rear tires. He's just gonna let it burn there. Oh man. That's it. Oh man.
That's gotta feel good for Powell, man. Yeah, having 4 poles on the season. Finally get one to, you know, finally getting a really good finish and finally getting that first win, man. Good for him.
Absolutely. And we will have the chance then to talk to him. Driver of the number one. And the number one for the first time this season, Sean Powell, you are a winner in the Speed Racing Network Z Grills series. How about it, man? How did you get that one done?
That's a long time coming there, man. It all started with just pit strategy and trying to figure out how to pace myself and to be fast up front, middle, and long. It's easy to overtake carry tires, so that was the balance. And pit strategy was another thing to factor in. And I knew by going into this race and stuff, it was all dependent on everybody was so equal. I know it's gonna be hard to pass with the outside working as good as it was, and I knew first person on pit road most likely was gonna not technically because I know Tyler tried to do that, but there was a balance there. Like you couldn't wait too long or too. You want to come to pit road too fast or too, what I mean, but or too late. But that was the balance, and just got it right with the pit strategy, got it right with the tire saving mode, and had a good race out there with Dustin. I hope that was a good show that we put on there.
Yeah, that was a fantastic show. We absolutely loved it, and I think the story is even greater, right? You going for your first win on the season, having to duel it out with your teammate looking for his fifth, and you not only took the victory. I mean, you really had to wrestle for it, contacted several times in what was a very hard, but we'll say clean and just hard racing fight between the two of you. All the while, well, actually, screw that. How do you feel, man?
It feels good, dude. Man, I feel like I've been so close the last couple of weeks. Like I think Darton got away from me. I feel like I was leading the majority of that race, and I think that race came to a fuel mileage race and kind of came short. I think I finished third. I won't say I finished third, but I had a couple good weeks, running wise. Like last week Iowa, ran well, ran out of fuel, and then a week before that, I can't remember all those weeks, but I feel like I've been running up front majority of these races. Just I hadn't been able to close it off, and the night was the night. It's a relief, when you got your teammates winning and you're not winning. Got to prove yourself right. So
Well, Sean, it's your first win on the season. You have the off week to also celebrate a little harder. But now you got that win. You got that monkey off your shoulder, Sean. How do you attack after the off week? We'll call it the second half of the season. It's really 11 races to the first 9. But how do you attack these next 11 races to try and maybe secure a championship this season?
win them all. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
Fair enough. Simple enough. Congratulations, Sean Powell, on your first career Speed Racing Network victory. Getting it done here at Z-Girls Series round number 9 from the Chicagoland Speedway. Best luck to you the rest of the season, man.
Thanks for your broadcast.
And guys, that was driver of the number 1 out of the Phase 2 Chassis Works crowd, Sean Powell, a well-deserved first career victory. And I think an even greater story was maybe to run for second place. Gabriel Ellison, man, I know he was one spot short, but Will, you got the story with our second place finisher.
Yeah, he was coming on like a rocket there towards the end of the race. He's gonna finish second, and Gabriel, I'd have to say you just stayed in the fight the entire race, top 5, top 3. Just ran out of laps there towards the end. How fast was that car underneath you?
Yeah, I had a lot of speed there at the end. On the first pit cycle, and a couple of those guys decided to go long, and saw how much speed they had towards the end of the run. They kind of got held up on the track, but they had a lot of speed, so I kind of thought that on the last run I would go a little bit longer and try to do the same thing they did. Yeah, if I followed them into pits, I don't think I was going to win. So I just kind of took an alternate strategy, and I think it worked. I mean, ended up net positive on positions, but just didn't have enough time to try to go for the win. But yeah, I mean, taking away P2 there, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think some lap cars may have came into play there towards the end, maybe killed some of that
Oh
momentum.
yeah, for sure.
What do you take from a race? I know you're going to take a podium finish there with that second spot. Do you take any newfound confidence the next week, seeing as how fast you were here tonight?
Honestly, yeah, these mile and a half, these intermediates, I haven't had as much pace as I'd like to compared to these guys. I mean, these guys are super fast, but getting up there and running real tight with them for the win, that definitely boosts the confidence a little bit.
Yeah, and if this helps a little bit, I know you're not going to take the checkered flag here tonight, Gabriel, but only you and Tyler Justice are going to run subpar 31 laps here. So both 30s on the board. I think you're going to get beat out by just about 20 tenths of a second. So that speed you were talking about, and Gabriel, before we let you go with that second place finish, anybody you wanted to say hi to, any sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, huge thanks to all the JBR partners, Club Glove and Bowler Smart. Huge thanks for them being on the car. And thanks to everybody at JBR, and then thanks to everybody at SRN.
Well, Gabriel, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. We cannot wait to speak with you next week. I'm sure we're either going to see you on the podium once again or in victory lane in that 36.
Hope so. Thank you, guys.
All right, and that was second place finisher Gabriel Ellison. And looked at the Discord, we didn't see a Dustin Montgomery, didn't see David Robertson. Came down to the, I think, duo of tank drivers. We'll call it a trio of tank drivers, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Well, we've talked to Adrian Schumacher this season. We haven't talked to Vincent Cortez. So I decided we'll bring on up 6th place finisher then, Vincent Cortez. Reese Schaefer, you'll be standing by with him.
Yeah, Vincent Cortez coming in home P6 tonight. And Vinny, buddy, got P6 here at Chicagoland. How was the race out there? Pretty fun? Pretty not fun? What happened?
Oh man, don't tell me he's not here.
I think we've got some technical difficulties with the microphone. I don't know if Vinny might be, I know we had the pit guy down there trying to find him. Might be in the bathroom. Not sure if we'll be able to get him or not.
Try one more time, Vinny. You got us, man? All right. Well, I guess then we'll go with the original plan, which was to get the next in line 5th place finisher then, Adrian Schumacher with you, Reese.
Adrian, buddy, coming home P5 tonight. We saw you with those different strategies, pitting a little bit later on the second half of the race there. Talk about the different strategies tonight and talk about that P5 finish.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. The strategy was good. Just ran as long as I could, and I was questioning about short pitting, and I did, but I didn't really understand the tire fall off.
Yeah, we were looking at the tire fall off as we were going through the race, Adrian. We saw it was around 2 seconds or so, but it wasn't as significant as I thought for how we saw drivers slipping and sliding around there. We saw you also early in the race, got some a little bit of damage. I can't remember what lap it was or who it was with, but had a little contact out of turn forward. Did that affect you at all going through the race?
Nah. I took a look back at it. It seemed like there was only a little touch of anything, a little bit in that code, but we were close. But nah, it didn't affect us.
Yeah, fantastic. Adrian, buddy, Iowa didn't have a great finish last week, but here cracking out another top 5 at a mile and a half. Looks like your previous mile and a half at Charlotte got a P3 finish. So doing well here this season, the mile and a half, buddy. Before we let you go though, anyone you thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom and grandma for watching. And like to thank Tank Racing and my teammates, Saints of Speed, Sonus, Hummingbird, and Lakeside Marine, and you guys for doing the broadcast.
Yeah, of course, buddy. Thanks for always putting on a good show. Enjoy this break that we have coming up, and we'll see you next time at New Hampshire.
All right, see you guys.
And guys, that was our 5th place finisher then, driver of the number 0, Adrian Schumacher. And that is going to wrap up our interviews tonight. I was hoping to maybe hear from Dustin Montgomery and talk about that great battle that was between himself and Ellison and him and Powell for the win. And then that crazy last lap between himself and Ellison. Not able to get a hold of him. But what we do have, guys, is our post-race results then on tap tonight. And we'll go ahead and talk about our post-race results then, as they'll be up on your screen. And of course, how it got done tonight. Then Sean Powell, then the race winner with the victory tonight, 0.6 of a second over Gabriel Ellison, who found his way up into that spot. Dustin Montgomery finishes third. David Robertson will be fourth. Adrian Schumacher then the top 5. Finishing that 6th position, Vincent Cortez. And Will, take us to the next 6.
Yeah, Max Service going to finish in that 7th spot in that 81 machine. Logan Truett's going to get a top 10 here tonight as well. Tyler Justice, we saw him with that pit strategy gamble, is going to finish inside the top 10, but I know he's probably wishing for a better finish in that 9th spot. Jonathan Gofield will get a top 10 here tonight after being involved in that very first caution of the night. Kyle Ryan 11th, and Nathan Della Rosa finished in 12th.
Got Claw coming in P13 tonight, along with Bobby Anderson, P14. Jim Harris with a little slide in the grass earlier, got P15. Jonathan Byer going to be P16 with some of that damage in that earlier wreck like we were talking about in lap 1. And Seth Berger coming in 17th. Man, I know he wanted a better showing than what he got tonight. Same with Christian Swenson. Those guys, the race ended way too early tonight here, Emerson.
Yeah, a couple of heartbreakers there. Swenson, Seth Berger. Jonathan Byer, he completed the race, but did not get the finish he wanted. I know for Seth, a home track for him, not the result he wanted with that 17th place finish, 90 laps off the pace. Well, guys, that's how they all came to the checkers tonight. An intriguing race. I think one that did get spread out, right? But I think a very entertaining race through the entire 150. But what do you guys, your final thoughts on what happened tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just happy to be back up here in the Speed Racing Network broadcast booth, and I think this race here tonight saw an interchanging of strategy. You saw Justice really peel out there in stage 1. You saw big runs at Ellison, though, there in 3rd spot, and I think Reese, it really came down to strategy. If those pit strategies really paid off, could you time it just right? And we were just in for quite a great finish. As we talked about that winning margin of last week's race, quite the opposite this week.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the strategies, I mean, we saw guys even on the first and second stop of that big green flag run at the end. You know, we saw guys coming in early. We saw Tyler Justice doing the flip flop, and you know, it really, you know, it paid off for Powell and Montgomery. But man, you wonder, you know, if we had 5 more laps on this thing, if how Ellison would have finished, or if he would have got by Powell, or you know, if Montgomery and Powell didn't have that contact coming in 3 and 4, if we would be talking to Powell in the winner. So really good race. I mean, one thing that I really took away from this race too was, you know, I mean, the first stage was kind of nice and calm and collected, and then all of a sudden, lap 45, lap 50, we restart, and it's just chaos. I mean, they guys turned up the heat quickly as the race went on, and it was a really great finish, Emerson.
Yeah, fantastic racing. Usually it's the other way around. The first stage maybe the little chaotic one, and the second stage calm. Everyone, you know, all right, settle in. 105 laps left in the race. No, it was a fantastic race through and through. And yeah, great battles, great use of the track. I think the brace of track surface, adding to some of the tire wear. You know, the track being a progressive, is it progressive wing? I can't even recall that, but a track where the bang on the high side really adds a lot of momentum for these drivers. Multiple lanes, great chances to defend, but great opportunities to attack in each of these corners. And guys, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if we saw a speeding penalty tonight on pit lane, even though how difficult it is to get down onto pit lane. But guys, I think then that's gonna do it from us here at Chicagoland. Of course, we got to give a shout out to all of our partners here at Speed Racing Network, our series partners Fiverr, Glitch, and Z-Grills, doing all the heavy lifting on their respective days. Tonight, of course, Z-Grills, the series partner here for the Speed Racing Network, Z-Grills series. Admin Box, of course, was on your screen all night long, and presenting our starting grid this evening, use code SRN-BOX, that's the BOXX, for 10% off of your Admin Box purchases. Butt Kicker, of course, they're our commercial partner most weeks here at Speed Racing Network. We didn't have many commercials tonight, so we did not hear from Butt Kicker this evening, but we'll get a message from them before we close out the show tonight. Of course, check out Butt Kicker. They're a great partner with us here at Speed Racing Network. EPI, of course, our Victory Lane presentation, and Select Blinds. Not too hard workers tonight at Select Blinds, but nonetheless, they provide our instant replays when needed. Of course, guys, when you're watching on YouTube, you scroll down, you see that big red button. If it says subscribe, click on it, turn it gray. Help us reach our subscriber goal here at Speed Racing Network, guys. And if you're already subscribed and you're enjoying the content here, the racing action that we get to provide 3 times a week, most weeks, go ahead and check out what you can do with that Speed Racing Network Premium Membership Program for $4.99 a month. You can get access to loyalty badges and custom emojis, exclusive wallpapers and photos, early access to new content, member shoutouts, members only live chats, and priority reply to comments. Check all of that, what's available if you become a Speed Racing Network Premium member today. And of course, guys, a huge shout to all of our social media outlets this evening. Our Facebook page at facebook.com/Speed Racing Network, our X page at x.com/Speed Racing Net, our Instagram at Speed Racing Network, our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Speed Racing Network, our Twitch at twitch.tv/Speed Racing Net, our LinkedIn at linkedin.com/company/Speed Racing Network, and of course the website where you can keep up with all things news and points, stats, and schedules for all of the series, whatever series you follow, or all the series if you'd like. SpeedRacingNetwork.com is your place to go. Well, gentlemen, I think that'll do it then from Joliet. Thank you all, viewers, for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all at Speed Racing Network, I am Emerson Arden with Will Tiller and Reese Schaefer alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you then in 2 weeks' time when Speed Racing Network heads up to New Hampshire.